name is Chicken, and this is my first impressions of Remnant. My first review, so I'm not really sure how to start this, but I think we're going to start by getting the negatives out of the way. This game for roughly 10 to 12 hours. Encountered a few glitches, some game breaking, some not so game breaking. So we're going to take a look at those. Now, for some reason, the footage that I recorded of these glitches is missing. Conspiracy? I don't know. But we're still going to talk about them. So some of the issues that I've had were things like shots not registering when they should have, melee attacks from enemies hitting me when they probably shouldn't have. They were way too far away. And this one game-breaking glitch that we found, it makes it to where you can't stop aiming. You're constantly aiming down your sights. And for most guns, it's a problem, of course. But it's not that big of a deal until you have a sniper and you zoom into the scope and then you can no longer get out of the scope because then you can't see anything. So those are just some of the glitches that we've run into. And the aiming one was the only game-breaking glitch that we found. Now I'm going to talk about some of the just straight-up issues that I'm having with the gameplay itself. So don't get me wrong, the gameplay is fantastic. I am loving my time with this game. But my problem is that when you're playing single player, this game is so ridiculously difficult. I think this game is meant to be played multiplayer because they throw so much at you. It's just you are constantly getting swarmed by enemies. And if you're by yourself, it's ridiculously hard. So the footage that you're seeing in the background is co-op, of course. But you can see the amount of enemies that were coming at us, and they don't reduce that for single player. That many will be coming at you, so you can kind of see how difficult it can be. I think we're going to end the negatives here, since this is just my first thoughts on the game, and I have not played it all the way through. 10 to 12 hours really isn't enough experience to really tell you too much, so I think we're going to move on to the positives now. As I've said before, I am loving my time with this game. I'm a huge fan of Dark Souls, and this is pretty much Dark Souls with guns. If that description doesn't sell you on it, then how about procedurally generated worlds? I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, to be honest. A Dark Souls game where it changes every single time you go through it, I mean, you couldn't ask for more. In a Dark Souls game, there isn't very much replayability besides, just grinding out levels and trying to show your gamer skills. But this game finds a way to create that replayability with the procedural generation. So, every single time you go through, loot will be in different places. Bosses will be different. They will have different buffs to the bosses, whether that be health regen or increased damage. Those buffs on the boss are randomized, so you'll most likely always get a different buff on the boss. This makes fighting the same boss over and over again always seem
refreshed. You know, you don't feel like you've always got it down every single time and that you're just breezing through the bosses. It always gives you a little bit of a learning curve every single time you go in. Now, the weapons, even though this is very early, I've enjoyed the variety. I've gotten an SMG that shoots like a flamethrower with its mod on it. I've gotten a sniper rifle, gotten a couple of different pistols that fire differently. You got one that's only got one bullet in it, but it does high damage, and then you have another one that will have, 5 or 6 bullets and deal significantly less damage. So you really get to build your character and the arsenal that you have to your playstyle. Now you might be asking yourself, well, what is a weapon mod? The best way to describe it, I would say, would be like spells from Dark Souls. They're mods that you put on your weapons, but they don't make your weapons shoot any better. Like, it's not like attaching a sight on your gun or a grip or anything like that. They're castable spells. Some take a few seconds to cast, some are instant. It depends. I got this one gun that shoots black holes as its mod. And so that one's completely instant. You press the button that, toggles it, whatever system you're playing it on. For me, this is the Xbox One, so right bumper. And it switches the reticle so that way you know that you are shooting a different projectile instead of your regular shots. So they always give you something, so that way you don't get messed up and think you're just shooting your regular ammo and you don't waste the shots. And so you pull the trigger and it instantly shoots the black hole out. There's other ones that summon things. You can summon flying skulls or little goblin guys. And those take a little bit longer to cast. Your guy has to put his gun up in the air or whatever, and you kind of stand there for a few seconds, and then the spell's cast, and you go on killing things. So on that note about being able to attach mods to weapons, boss weapons specifically usually have their own mod that you cannot take off. You have to use that mod. Any other weapons that you find out in the world or you buy from a shopkeeper usually don't have a specific mod, and you can insert any mod that you find or acquire through a boss. You might be wondering, so how do you improve your character? Is it just by finding new armor and equipping it, new weapons and that? Well, you can do that, but it's really leveling up your traits and upgrading the weapons and armor that you really like to use. So let's start with weapons and armor. The footage that you're seeing in the background right now is me buying a boss weapon or crafting a boss weapon from the boss that y'all were watching just a few minutes ago. So as you can see, it costs 1 blazing heart and 7 luminite crystals. So the blazing heart is actually what we got from that boss. That's the boss drop item, or at least one of them, I think. I believe there is more depending on how you kill the boss. But the luminite crystals are what you get from the special enemies that you'll fight throughout the world. They'll usually have a sound cue with them, and you gun them down. Sometimes they'll drop the luminite crystals, sometimes they won't. It's a random drop. And as you can see, the weapon that I got, it's an SMG, and it shoots extremely fast, but the damage is low. It also has a mod that is tied to it, so I cannot take that mod off. I can't switch it off with anything. It's stuck on there, and that's the flamethrower mod that I was talking about earlier. about to see here is how you upgrade your weapons and armor. So, what you can see there is that the boss weapon that I have, it costs luminite crystals to upgrade on top of iron. Now, every weapon that you find that's, I believe, below +5, I could be wrong about that, is going to cost iron. Then, above +5, it'll start costing reforged iron, I believe. Again, I could be wrong about that. If there's anything above that, I'm not sure. But everything will cost that. Boss weapons are the only things that will also cost luminite crystals. Regular weapons should only cost the standard material, whatever it may need. Now let's take a look at the trait system. So, as you can tell from what's on screen, you pretty much put skill points in, and you can get increased health, increased stamina, a bunch of different things. But what I really like about this system is the way that you actually unlock the traits. Now, there are multiple ways to do this. One is from defeating bosses. You'll just get a new trait, and you can start pumping it up. But another way is actually through what you do in gameplay. So there's this one that I got. It was, I want to say, I don't know, recovery or reviver or something. But I got it because I was reviving my teammates so much that they gave me a skill to put points into to revive my teammates faster. Since I've started working on this video, I've actually beaten the game. And I've gotten really far. My highest level character is level 187, and it's crazy how long it's taken me to get this out. So I apologize for that, and it's an extremely late video, but it is what it is. So the next video that I'm probably going to make will be on Borderlands 3, and that'll probably be an actual review, like a complete deep dive into everything. Probably won't make it, the video until after I've completed Borderlands. But let me know if y'all want to see a complete review of this game, as it's honestly one of my favorite games now. I'm enjoying my time with it. I've put in probably over, I don't know, 30 hours into the game. And remember at the beginning of this video I said 10 to 12, so I've put in a lot of hours since I started making this video. And I'm loving every second. I'm still finding new things to do, and it's incredible. I want to thank y'all for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time.